with Lomachenko. And after that, I felt like I kind of got pushed more than you, and you felt some type of way about the way that I was pushed more than you when it came down to ESPN. I remember you saying a little comment with the ESPN only like black fighters and all that kind of stuff. And when you said that, I kind of felt like it was a shot at me. So I felt like it was a little bit of jealousy.
No, I just didn't give enough. That's all.
2 MINS ago, Shakur Stevenson explodes on Teofimo Lopez. During live interview. Okay, boxing fans, we need to talk about what just went down between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, and trust me when I say this interview was absolutely wild from start to finish. These two didn't just throw verbal jabs, they served up a full-course meal of tension, drama, and some seriously heated moments that had everyone watching completely glued to their screens. So, here's what happened. Shakur and Teofimo sat down for what was supposed to be a normal first-take interview, but from the second they started talking, you could feel the electricity in the air.
Technique fighter.
Yeah.
You know, can't take anything away from me. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world. Scared to get touched up in front of the world. And
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general, me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work. And me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass his jab, it's game.
Yeah.
This wasn't your typical pre-fight promotion where fighters throw around generic trash talk for the cameras. No, this was personal. And both of these guys came loaded with real opinions about each other that they've clearly been holding back for way too long.
Got a lot to deal with come January 31st.
So without giving up too much, when you look at him as a professional and you see what he's done, the fights he's fought, his style, what is it about him that you are going to exploit?
I think he the truth. He do a lot of things well. I think he flashy. I think it's just some basic stuff. Where I feel like he make mistakes. And I think I'm gonna capitalize off those mistakes.
What is it about you that has you, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth and then saying, I want to fight?
Right off the bat, Shakur called Teofimo the most overrated boxer in the sport right now. Not just overrated, but the most overrated. That's a nuclear bomb to drop on live television, especially when you're sitting right next to the person you're talking about. But here's the thing that made it even more brutal. Shakur didn't say it with anger or emotion. He said it like he was stating a fact, like he was telling you the weather forecast. That kind of cold delivery hits different because it shows he's not trying to get under Teofimo's skin for show. He genuinely believes it. But Teofimo wasn't about to sit there and take it. When he fired back, calling Shakur scared to get hit and scared to get knocked out in front of the world, the whole dynamic shifted.
This one, you don't have to answer.
Okay.
But I'm curious if you will answer it.
Yes.
Most overrated boxer right now.
Most overrated boxer right now.
You could go all time, I guess, if you wanted to.
I'll just say it. I think Shakur Stevenson, who I'm going to be facing, I think he's overrated. I think so, yeah. He's been decreasing on his style. Yeah, but people amp it up like he's really got the goods. I'm looking forward to us finally facing in that square.
These weren't calculated promotional sound bites anymore. This was 2 elite fighters who clearly have some deep-seated issues with each other, and they were finally letting it all spill out on national television.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that this is going to be a tough fight for you.
I mean, they absolutely right to have their opinion. I already know this guy's good. I done came up in the amateurs with him. I chose this for that reason. Like, I chose this because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to put myself in a situation to where I'm able to raise my game up to another level. So that was my whole purpose.
Do you feel like you got to be real dominant in this fight? Because, I mean, Teo, he from New York and,
The tension in that room was so thick you could cut it with a knife. You know that feeling when you're watching something unfold and you can't look away because you know it's about to get messy? That's exactly what this was. The interviewers were trying to keep things professional, but you could see they were just as caught up in the drama as everyone else watching at home. What made this whole situation even more intense was the body language between these two. Shakur had that controlled aggression going on, sitting back, relaxed, but with his eyes locked on Teofimo like he was studying him for weaknesses. Meanwhile, Teofimo was leaning forward, animated, using his hands while he talked, and you could see the fire building up inside him with every exchange. The most fascinating part about this whole situation is how their personalities came through in every single exchange. Shakur represents that new school approach. Technical, calculated, always thinking 3 moves ahead. He's the type of fighter who studies tape until his eyes bleed and treats every aspect of boxing like a chess match. Meanwhile, Teofimo is pure fire and instinct. He's the guy who thrives in chaos and seems to get more dangerous when things get unpredictable.
It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. I thought it was cool, so it kind of made me want to get in a ring with him and see if he.
When they started talking about their sparring sessions from back in the day, that's when things got really interesting. Shakur mentioned they went 3 rounds, and it was light work for him, basically saying he had Teofimo figured out from day one. But here's the thing about sparring stories. They're like war stories. Everyone remembers them differently, and everyone thinks they won. The fact that Shakur brought this up on live television tells you he's been sitting on this memory for years, waiting for the right moment to use it as psychological warfare. What really caught my attention was when they started talking about their amateur days and how their relationship has evolved. There used to be genuine respect between these two. They came up together, sparred together, and probably pushed each other to get better.
Yeah, but when you said in the
ended
comments,
up-
you said something there. It was something you said at that time. That was
I just-
something. It was the way you felt, right?
Nah, I just pushed the movement that I felt like we was taking over as we are now.
Like I said, I think you the truth. I know I'm the truth, and can't wait to see it.
Well, Tio, you've said in a recent interview that you feel that this is Shakur's time to lose, that you see this fight going 2 ways.
But somewhere along the way, that mutual respect turned into something much more complicated. Success, titles, and promotional politics have a way of changing relationships in boxing, and you could see all of that history bubbling under the surface during this interview. The ESPN comment that Shakur brought up was particularly spicy. Without going into all the details, there's clearly been some behind-the-scenes drama about promotional opportunities and who gets pushed by certain networks. When fighters start feeling like they're not getting fair treatment or that someone else is getting opportunities they deserve, that's when professional rivalry becomes personal. And once it becomes personal in boxing, everything changes. You can hear it in Shakur's voice when he talks about feeling like Teofimo was jealous of the attention he was getting. That kind of resentment doesn't just disappear. It builds up over time until it explodes in moments exactly like this.
Raise my game up to another level, so that was my whole purpose.
Do you feel like you got to be real dominant in this fight? Because, I mean, Tio, he from New York, and, you know, you having a fight in New York, and the judges, man. You never know, yo.
He not from New York, but he not from New York. He not from New York. He probably was born in New York, but like being from New York is like I'm raised and I'm brought up in New York, and I known him for years and years, and I always seen him.
Teofimo's response about being from New York versus just being born there was interesting too. There's a whole cultural element to this fight that goes beyond just boxing skills. Regional pride, where you're truly from versus where you happen to be born. These things matter in combat sports because they shape how fighters see themselves and how they want to be perceived by fans. When Teofimo said Shakur wasn't really from New York, he was basically saying, "You don't represent us," which in the boxing world is fighting words. The technical breakdown they gave of each other was absolutely fascinating. When Shakur talked about getting past Teofimo's jab and it being game over, he was basically giving away his entire game plan on live television. That takes some serious confidence. Either he's so sure of his abilities that he doesn't care if Teofimo knows what's coming, or he is playing mind games at a level that's beyond what most people can even comprehend. What's crazy is how other fighters started jumping into this conversation. When Ryan Garcia and other elite boxers started weighing in with their predictions, it became clear this isn't just a fight between two guys.
Honestly, no. I feel like Tio's not that much bigger than me. I think he kind of a little muscular, but that shit don't mean nothing. Muscle don't win fights, but
Faster. You talking about room 40
faster.
though?
You said what?
You talking about room 40?
Yeah,
Room 40's nuts.
faster. Yo, you pause, bro. What's up with you, bro? You been wild since
fuck you
been
hard.
here, bro. Pause.
Fuck
bro.
you hard. Real hard.
Man, what do you say to that, bro? Like, you him, bro. I just can't wait to beat him and shut him up, bro.
It's becoming a litmus test for the entire division. Everyone wants to see which style is going to dominate the future of boxing. The fact that even seasoned experts are split on who's going to win tells you everything you need to know about how evenly matched these two really are. But here's what really has me thinking this fight is going to be something special. Both of these guys seem to genuinely believe they're going to win, and not in that fake promotional way that fighters usually do interviews. Shakur has that quiet confidence that comes from years of outthinking opponents and making them look foolish. He's betting that his boxing IQ and technical skills will be too much for Teofimo's power and aggression. On the flip side, Teofimo has that chaotic energy that can completely change the trajectory of a fight in one explosive moment. He's the type of fighter who thrives when everyone expects him to lose, and he seems to feed off the pressure and doubt.
There's a big Shakur Stevenson fight coming up with Teofimo Lopez. How do you see that going down?
That fight got signed?
I don't know if it's signed yet, but we're curious.
I think Shakur beats Tio.
You think Shakur beats Teo quickly, fast? Is it something easy? Is it going to be a decision?
It might be a little challenging, but I don't really see it like being too challenging for him.
I know you've fluctuated from 130, 135, 140. Maybe there's a future fight for you with your...
When he talks about this fight being his time to prove something, you can hear the desperation and hunger in his voice, and desperate fighters are always dangerous fighters. The really interesting dynamic here is that both of their strengths could potentially neutralize each other. Shakur's technical approach works best against fighters who come forward recklessly and make predictable mistakes. But what happens when he faces someone who's just as smart as he is but operates from pure instinct? Meanwhile, Teofimo's explosive style is most effective against opponents who try to stand and trade with him. But what happens when he faces someone who refuses to engage in those kinds of exchanges? What made this interview so compelling wasn't just the trash talk or the personal shots they took at each other. It was seeing two completely different philosophies about boxing clash in real time. Shakur represents the evolution of the sweet science, using intelligence, positioning, and patience to systematically break down opponents.
Let's start with what really happened at the press conference. Look, after being there and being behind the scenes and witnessing all this shit, I don't know who's going to win the fight. And that's the Black Two Sugars. I went from being very certain that Shakur Stevenson wins to thinking about it and saying, oh, this fight is very close, to now being behind the scenes with both Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, being there at the press conference and saying, I have no idea who wins the fight.
Teofimo represents that old school mentality where heart, power, and willingness to take risks can overcome any technical disadvantage. The psychological warfare that's already happening between these two is next level. You can tell they've been studying each other for years, looking for weaknesses, mental cracks they can exploit. When fighters know each other this well, the fight often gets decided before they even step in the ring, based on who can get deeper into the other person's head. The way they kept interrupting each other and talking over one another showed there's genuine animosity here. Not just promotional theater, what's even more interesting is how this rivalry reflects the current state of boxing as a whole. You've got the old guard of fans who appreciate technical mastery and ring IQ, and then you've got the newer generation that wants explosive action and unpredictable moments. This fight is basically asking the question, what do we value more in boxing today? Skill or excitement? Brains or heart?
If this thing goes down, how are you going to win this fight? Because he's very defensive, very slick, good counter puncher when he needs to be. Showed a little more in the Zepeda fight than I'd seen offensively. A lot more aggressive in that fight. Do you think he fights you the same way, or obviously don't give away everything? But what do you think, man?
All right, this is my assessment. This is what I think.
Okay.
Make sure you have.
I knew it, bro.
Make sure you have Netflix. If any other ones out there, make sure you have that. It's gonna happen.
The answer might define the direction the sport takes for the next decade. The timing of this fight couldn't be more perfect either. Both fighters are in their absolute primes. Both are undefeated, and both have everything to lose. There's no safety net here, no easy comeback story if things go wrong. Winner takes all. Loser goes home with serious questions about their future. That's the kind of pressure that either breaks fighters or reveals greatness, and honestly, I can't wait to see which one it's going to be for these two. The January 31st date can't come fast enough because this fight has all the ingredients to be something truly special. When you have two undefeated fighters in their primes who genuinely don't like each other and their styles create natural questions that can only be answered in the ring, that's when boxing magic happens. If this drama got your blood pumping and you want to stay updated on all the latest boxing chaos, make sure you hit that like button, drop your predictions in the comments below, and subscribe because we're going to be breaking down every single detail of this fight as we get closer to fight night. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next in this rivalry.
Spectacle. This is what Keyshawn Davis had to say about Shakur Stevenson.
Bro, Shakur is serious. Like, Shakur go to sleep at night dreaming. Like, Shakur is serious about this shit, bro. Like, for real. I tell Shakur all the time, like, I love how much you love boxing. Like, motherfucker, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna take somebody that just loves it just as much as he does to even just go in there and compete with him.
100% what I witnessed. Shakur Stevenson focuses and remembers everything. You